She once made Coco Gauff walk off the court in tears of frustration. She once beat a world #1 on the biggest stage of her career. Now, 21-year-old Eala is on a warpath through Cincinnati, and every seed in her path is trembling. But standing between her and tennis immortality is the one player who owes her revenge. The 4th seed, the American superstar, Coco Gauff. This is not just a match. This is a rivalry boiling over. And today, we predict who walks away as the true queen of Cincinnati. Eala is no longer a surprise story. She is a certified threat on the WTA Tour, and anyone who still calls her an underdog has not been paying attention. Her breakthrough season has been nothing short of historic, culminating in a stunning title run at the Mubadala DC Open, where she outplayed seasoned veterans with a composure far beyond her years. She followed that up with an unforgettable triumph at the Washington Open, defeating Jessica Pegula in the final, a win that instantly reshaped how the tennis world views her. That victory alone proved she is not just capable of upsetting big names, she is capable of beating them when a trophy is on the line. Her seeding at Cincinnati, the highest of her career, is a direct reflection of this meteoric rise, and it places her among players who once felt untouchable. What makes Eala truly dangerous is her mental fortitude. She thrives in high-pressure moments rather than shrinking from them, a trait that separates good players from great champions. Her ground strokes have become heavier, her serve more reliable, and her court coverage has improved to a level that frustrates even the most aggressive baseliners. She has also become one of the most watched personalities on tour, drawing massive crowds who want to witness the next big story in women's tennis unfold in real time. Even with a sore ankle and lingering fatigue heading into Cincinnati, her first-round bye as a seeded player gives her crucial recovery time before the tournament truly tests her. Analysts who once questioned whether she could sustain this level of performance are now forced to admit that Eala's rise is not a fluke. It is the arrival of a genuine contender. Her path through the draw is brutal, filled with dangerous floaters and former Grand Slam champions, but if her recent form is any indication, she is exactly the kind of player who elevates her game when the stakes are highest. The question heading into this tournament is no longer whether Eala belongs among the elite, it is how far she can push before someone finally stops her. And right now, very few players on tour look capable of doing that. Coco Gauff enters Cincinnati as the 4th seed and one of the most consistent competitors in women's tennis, a status she has earned through relentless improvement and an unshakable competitive spirit. Her run through the Canadian Open, including a dominant stretch of wins and a walkover into the semifinals, shows a player rediscovering her rhythm at exactly the right moment before this tournament begins. Gauff's game has evolved significantly over the past year. Her serve has become more of a weapon rather than a liability, and her forehand, once considered her biggest weakness, has grown noticeably more reliable under pressure. She remains one of the best movers on tour, using her elite speed to turn defense into offense within a single rally, a skill that has bailed her out of countless difficult positions against powerful hitters. Her mental resilience is arguably her greatest asset. She has faced immense scrutiny and expectation since bursting onto the scene as a teenager, yet she continues to perform at a Grand Slam winning level year after year. Her win rate over the past year sits impressively high, and her results against top-ranked opponents prove she is not intimidated by big names or big occasions. However, the shadow of Indian Wells still lingers, where an arm injury forced her to retire while trailing Eala, an outcome that left the rivalry technically unresolved and undoubtedly fuels her motivation heading into this potential rematch. Gauff has spoken about wanting her performance, not her injuries, to define her matches, and Cincinnati offers her the perfect stage to prove that point emphatically. Her projected path includes a tough quarterfinal against 5th seed Mira Andreeva, followed by a possible semifinal against top seed Aryna Sabalenka, meaning Gauff will need to be at her absolute best long before she even reaches Eala. If she survives that gauntlet, she arrives battle-tested, sharper, and more dangerous than ever, a version of Gauff that has historically been nearly impossible to beat on home soil in North America. Every great sporting rivalry needs an origin story, and this one begins with a head-to-head record that sits perfectly even, one win apiece, a tie that only intensifies the drama surrounding their next encounter. Their most recent meeting at Indian Wells this year remains one of the most talked-about matches of the season, not because of a clean, decisive result, but because of how it ended. Eala raced out to a commanding lead, dominating the first set and pushing early into the second, before Gauff was forced to retire due to a left arm injury, leaving fans and analysts debating what might have happened had the match continued. For Eala, it was a signature win, proof she could dismantle a top-ranked opponent. But for Gauff, it was an outcome overshadowed by circumstance rather than a true reflection of her ability on that day. This unresolved nature adds a psychological layer to their next meeting. Eala carries the confidence of a previous win, while Gauff carries the motivation of unfinished business and a point to prove. Off the court, their relationship tells a completely different story. The two have been seen spending time together away from competition, sharing laughs, and even singing along to music during a relaxed night out before this very tournament. This friendship adds a fascinating contrast to their on-court rivalry, showing that mutual respect and fierce competitiveness can coexist at the highest level of professional sport. Tennis history is filled with rivalries built on this exact dynamic. Friends off the court who transform into ruthless competitors the moment they step between the lines. The tennis world is watching closely because this storyline has everything: unresolved history, contrasting narratives, genuine friendship, and two players entering career-defining stretches of their season. If these two do meet in Cincinnati, it will not just be a match, it will be the next chapter in a rivalry that is quickly becoming one of the most compelling storylines in women's tennis today. Before fans get their dream final, both players must survive a gauntlet of contenders scattered throughout the Cincinnati draw, and neither path looks remotely easy. Eala's projected route is filled with danger at every turn. A potential clash with 9th seed Amanda Anisimova looms early, followed by a possible 4th-round test against Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova, whose grass court pedigree translates surprisingly well onto hard courts. Should she survive that gauntlet, a quarterfinal rematch against Jessica Pegula awaits, the very player she defeated in the Washington Open final, a match that carries its own weight of expectation and revenge narrative from Pegula's side. Beyond that stands the possibility of facing Iga Swiatek or Elena Rybakina in the semifinals, two players capable of ending any run with sheer power and precision. Meanwhile, Gauff's side of the draw is equally treacherous. A blockbuster quarterfinal against fellow rising star Mira Andreeva looms large, a matchup between two of the most talented young players on tour that could easily headline the tournament on its own. Win that, and Gauff likely walks straight into the path of Aryna Sabalenka, the world #1 and top seed, in what would be an enormous semifinal test of nerve and firepower. The sheer difficulty of both draws means that whoever emerges to face the other in a final will have already proven they belong among the very best players in the world this week. This is precisely what makes a potential Eala versus Gauff final so exciting. It would not be a fluke pairing. It would be the natural result of two players outlasting murderer's row levels of competition. Every match leading up to this potential showdown will shape momentum, confidence, and physical freshness, factors that could ultimately decide the outcome just as much as raw talent. Fans hoping for this dream matchup will need to watch every single round closely, because in a draw this loaded, nothing is guaranteed until it actually happens on court. After breaking down form, history, and the road each player must travel, it is time to deliver a verdict on who has the edge in this blockbuster storyline. Statistically, Eala has been on an absolutely scorching run, winning 9 of her last 10 matches and posting an outstanding record against top 10 opponents over the past year, numbers that scream genuine championship contender rather than lucky streak. Her aggressive baseline game and improved serve give her the tools to trouble any player on tour, and her fearless mentality in big moments makes her especially dangerous in high-stakes matches like a potential final. Gauff, however, brings unmatched physicality, elite court coverage, and a proven track record of winning big titles under immense pressure, qualities that have carried her to Grand Slam glory before and cannot be underestimated regardless of recent hiccups. Her superior overall win percentage across the year and career results against elite competition suggest she remains the more battle-tested and complete competitor of the two heading into Cincinnati. If fatigue and that lingering ankle issue catch up with Eala during her brutal draw, Gauff's superior physical conditioning could become the deciding factor in a potential meeting between them. On the other hand, if Eala continues riding this wave of confidence and her body holds up, her recent dominant form suggests she is fully capable of avenging nothing, because technically, she does not need to. She already holds the psychological upper hand from their last encounter. Our prediction leans narrowly toward Coco Gauff claiming the edge in a potential final, purely based on physical freshness, tournament experience, and her track record of elevating her game on North American hard courts. However, this is far from a lock, and if Eala's current form is any indication, betting against her right now would be a genuine mistake. One thing is certain, whoever survives this gauntlet and reaches the final will have earned every bit of glory that follows, and Cincinnati is about to witness something truly special. If you enjoyed this latest tennis update and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe the channel right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. See you in the next video.